whatever the lieutenant said to the sergeant, not only pissed the sergeant off, but it just made him look stupid in front of everybody. It just showed him that K can get away with whatever he wants in here. Now when the sergeant comes through, he don't say nothing to K. K's not one of the ones that's going to go out of his way to cause problems. But now he does not like the sergeant. He's told other people he's got one more time to say something to me, base up on me, and I'm going to beat his big ass. Watch what I do to him. I'm going to make an example out of him. Ain't nobody here going to carry me. Been in and out the penitentiary my whole life. They act like they run shit. I run this shit. This is my house. K had a habit of going to other buildings when he needed food, where he had homeboys, dudes that owed him. He would go down there to extort people, take things from people. And you'd see K walking back from another building to our building with a whole bag of commissary. K wouldn't hide it. Most dudes would wear their jacket, cut the inside lining, and stuff the jacket full of soups and sodas and honey buns, whatever it is they got from another building. K would just come walking with a big-ass sack over his back like Santa Claus. All the guards that knew him, and even the ones that didn't know him, would take one look at him and be like, I ain't messing with that big son of a bitch. He'd be walking right down the boulevard. Commissary ain't been called. There's no reason for him to have commissary, but there he is with that big-ass sack of food over his shoulder, walking out of a building he don't belong in, and back into our building like he owns this bitch. Walk right by the guards, and they just look at him. Like, how you doing? That man definitely just robbed somebody. He definitely just extorted somebody. He definitely just came out of a building that anybody else would go to the hole for being in. Hey, have a nice day. Going back in your building, K. It always ends bad. We're on the rec yard one day, out there standing at the fence talking, and I look down what we call, it's a stretch of concrete we call the boulevard, and then you got my building is 7. Then beside that, you got 8 building. Then down there, you got 9 building. I see K coming out of 9 building from a distance. You can't miss him. For even that far off, from 300 feet, 200 feet away, you can spot that big son of a bitch, and you know who that is when you see him. It's too big to be anybody else. That's K. He's coming out of 9 building. He's walking down the boulevard, and I look over to the right, and I see this big-ass sergeant come out the side of the chow hall door. Now, they're not doing chow, but the sergeant's job is he goes around and checks on things. So you got guys in the chow hall prepping food for lunchtime. Sergeant goes in there and makes sure everything's running right. The guards are doing their job, overseeing them. Comes out, and he spots Big K, walking with his big-ass bag of food over his shoulders. Hey, come here. K looks at him. Man, fuck you. Keeps walking. Inmate, I said, come here. Fuck you. That's what I said. You heard me. He keeps walking. Now, Sarge puts a pep in his step. Starts walking faster. He's walking behind K. 20 feet. 15 feet. K's nonchalantly walking. Like, I wish this son bitch would run up on me. Looks back and sees him and don't pay him no attention, like he's not even there, like he's a fly. Sergeant walks up behind K and grabs the bag of commissary and pulls it. And when he does, K lets it go, turns around, grabs his big-ass beast of a man up, wraps his arms around him, takes him, and dumps him into the grass, and they go to fighting. There's a difference between watching me and another man fight and watching 2 men of that size fight. It's like watching Floyd Mayweather and then watching Tyson. Floyd can land a whole bunch of punches, and the fight can still go 8-9 rounds. With them dudes like that of that size, those punches they throw end shit real fast. K flips him over in the grass and commences to stroking on him, swinging on him. Sergeant flips K, starts giving it back to him. Now they're tussling in the grass. The commissary's laid out all on the boulevard right there. The big-ass bag of food just laying there. And there's other officers now running out the building. They got a panic button they can hit on their walkie-talkie, and everybody reports to that area. There's officers up there with other officers, the other sergeants, lieutenants, everyday officers can see what's going on. These 2 big son of bitches fight for a good 30, 45 seconds. By the time the officers get out there to help their sergeant, their leader, this big-ass dude that tried Big K, K was picking the commissary back up and walking back in the building with it. They ended up calling the goon squad. K went in there, put all the commissary in his cell like he didn't know that he just beat the shit out the sergeant. You are going to jail. Everybody asks, what happens when you put your hands on a correctional officer? You go back to court. You go back to court for an assault charge on a guard, on staff. You've now caught a criminal charge while you're incarcerated that you're going to be tried for, either in front of a judge or in front of a jury. You're going to stand in front of your peers. You're going to be sentenced to more time, right? K beat the dog shit, punished that sergeant. Difference between them both being the same size and them being the same is that the sergeant was just a sergeant. K was a big violent man who had spent all his life, majority of his life in prison, majority of his time fighting, robbing people, hurting people. And the sergeant's not there with a heart full of anger. The sergeant gets to leave and go home every day. But he didn't follow basic protocol. He should have never touched K. Never in a million years. What would cross his mind? I don't know if it was his ego. Maybe he thought his military training was gonna kick in when it came to trying to handle K. Maybe he was gonna put K in an arm bar or something. K scooped this, man. You ever seen somebody grab somebody up and then just spin them and dump them? K dumped them and beat the shit out of them. The guards came in there, and I'm thinking they lock us all down. I'm thinking K is about to have it out. He's about to go to town with these guards. They showed up to his cell. He told the lieutenant, I told him to stop fucking with me. He got what he deserved. Voluntarily walked himself out of there and disappeared. His name, he is by far probably one of the most known dudes in the Virginia Department of Corrections since as far back as I could probably guess, man. Anybody that knows who he is could tell you that just the thought of having problems with him or seeing him come in your direction in a sense of violence would usually shut most guys down from fighting with him. I didn't know of anybody that ever tried to stand toe-to-toe with him. Only thing you heard is that if K went at you, you was going to give it up. He ultimately got more time, but I do know that he was released. The place I ended up at after that place, I ended up with one of his nephews. Asked me, I heard the dude's last name. I said, oh, you related to such and such? He was like, yeah. I said, man, your uncle is a savage, bro. Your uncle is a maniac. He's like, yeah, that's my uncle, man. That's my people. Start showing me family photos. And there he is, a free man, posted up with the family, not looking like a whole entire psycho, not looking like, you know what I mean, somebody that belongs on death row's most wanted list. But yeah, man, Big K beat the shit out the sergeant, punished that man. I like to say that after he got that ass whooping from K, that it changed everything, that he watched the way he talked to people, that he became a better person. He actually became a lieutenant and only got worse. From then on out, he didn't do much talking. He didn't do all the saying things to people that would slick out of his mouth. He was just quick to grab you and handcuff you so that he'd never, ever catch another ass whooping like the one K gave him. We've all seen the movie Friday. Remember Debo? Imagine walking into the cell and Debo being your cellie. That was Big K. Imagine that man coming up to you and saying, hey, can I get 2 soups off of you? Let me have 2 soups. I didn't know of anybody that wouldn't give the man what he asked for. Not only that, if you see a man hungry, feed him. Man ain't got nothing in his box. You know he ain't got no means of support from the outside. Whatever's going on, you feed him. With Big K, it didn't matter if he had 5,000 soups in his cell. He just decided he wanted to eat yours. Like Debo, come on, everybody tucked their chain in. When he punched Red in his face and took his bite. Yeah. K would have beat Debo's ass, man. He'd have made Debo look like a damn clown.